Hi, this is Benjamin Bernstein with Astro Shaman, astroshaman.com, and I'm here to tell you about a dream I had last night that was really a shamanic experience and the 2.5 hours of Mesa work or altar work that I did following that because of what the dream was. And I want to tell this to you because not only I think it's an amazing story, but also because there may be some good teachings for you in here, so maybe some good takeaways. So also I want to mention I'm recording this on April 2nd. Technically this stuff is supposed to be up by the 1st, but good thing I was late this time because otherwise I would not have had this interesting story to share with you. So let me start by telling you the dream. It was a very detailed dream, and and basically I was in some sort of large facility where there were a lot of people coming and going, and they were breeding spiders and mosquitoes. And the loving care with which these insects were being cultivated was just extraordinary. I mean, each little larvae or new being was carefully hand placed into an environment that would be optimal for its rapid and helpful growth. And so all these spiders and mosquitoes were being bred in this facility. I was somehow trapped in the facility. I wasn't working there. I was just sort of observing in minute detail the particular techniques that were being used, which are not relevant to go into here. They're not really the point of the story. And the climax of the dream came when a person who was one of the workers came toward me with 3 or 4 spiders dangling off this thing. And it appeared to me that they were going to put them on me, which I did not want to have happen. And as they were coming, I looked down at my forearms, and there was some significant scarring on my forearms, indicating to me that I had already been experimented on or used somehow to feed these creatures. And then as the person got closer and closer to me, I just woke up from the dream. Now, the quality of the dream was interesting because having been doing shamanism for quite a few years now, I can tell the difference now between just a regular old dream and a shamanic experience. And this was a shamanic experience. The detail, vividness, and clarity was just too strong. It was exactly like an ayahuasca vision to see that level of detail in the construct of what was going on. So I realized immediately when I woke up, this was not just a regular dream. This is a disturbing experience, and I need to take appropriate action on this. I did note my own state when I woke up. I was calm, I was centered, there was no fear or agitation or trembling or anything like that. So I realized I'd had the experience but came out of it solid. But still, I needed to go to my Mesa and do some cleanup work. So I got out of bed, walked next door to our Mesa room, which is our room where we have our shamanic altar on the floor and we do our ceremonial work and such. And lit a candle, sat down. I have a rapid way of calling in the allies. It normally takes several minutes, but I just did the quickie version and set a container. And I knew I needed to drink Grandfather. And Grandfather is the tobacco tea that both my partner Mesa and I routinely imbibe. You actually use a little shell and you drink it through the nose, left side to clear, right side to bring in good energy and integrate. So I knew I'd be doing that, but I also wanted to be very methodical with this because I wanted to both be sure I was really clear and that I had gained whatever information there was to be had from this experience. So first I sat down, and as often happens, I just started shaking anyway. And this is not a bad trembly shaking, it's just a clearing shaking. So my butt wiggled a lot, and my arm shook, and just the heavy energy. If you don't know the word hucha, H-U-C-H-A, it means waste energy in the Quechua language of South America. So I dumped the initial flush of hucha off, then formally set the container and called for maximum healing that serves highest good, my healing invocation, and I just let some of that clear. And then I blessed and drank the Grandfather on the left. I won't go into all the details and technicalities of what I did there, but I did. And as always, I love Grandfather tobacco. It is such an amazing healer. If you don't have familiarity with this, let me just broadly say, of course, tobacco as it's smoked and sold in most, Western countries is toxic, nasty, and horrible. But pure organic tobacco from South America, when used in a shamanic way, is actually one of the most powerful healing tools there is. There's actually shamans who heal entirely with tobacco, whether it's smoked or drunk or, however it's used. So anyhow, as always, when I raise Grandfather tobacco, raising is the raising of the shell. Within a few minutes, I felt much stronger, more clear. I liken grandfather tobacco to Popeye eating a can of spinach. It's that powerful and energetic boost for me. So now I got clear, and I spent quite a while sitting there. I wanted to be sure it was really thorough, and then went over to the right side and raised on the right. And then that's where you're bringing in the good energy, integrating. And by the time I'd raised both sides and sat there a while and just quietly let the energies integrate, my way of working with grandfather is once I've stated the prayer, when you drink it, you don't just drink it. Well, what I do is I make sure the shell is energetically clear, the actual vial of tobacco tea is clear of all heavy energy, and I've asked the allies that I work with to bring it to the highest vibration that serves highest good. And then you raise the shell and you pray into the shell. Grandfather is, one of the, if not the best receiver of prayer and flexibility to deliver it as any plant spirit there is. Some believe it's the very best at this because it's so flexible. So you state your prayer very clearly, and then you drink, and the energy of that prayer comes in, and the tobacco tea energetically carries it to your whole body and your energy field. So anyhow, I did my prayers, and it was beautiful, and I felt wonderful. And then I thought, okay, clearing first, insight second. And so I had two thoughts about what this dream might be related to. One, my partner Makisla and I, the prior night, had attended a tobacco ceremony, which is a monthly event here in Asheville, and had raised some very strong grandfather. I myself had received specific shamanic healing as part of that event, and at a very powerful, the grandfather can be very potent, especially if it's made in certain ways. And I was very strongly affected by it, so much so it was better for Makisla to drive us home. And I was so affected, I just went pretty well straight to bed, or not long after we got home. And I thought, okay, I wondered, is there a possibility that somehow this disturbing experience in the night was somehow related to that? The other possibility that occurred to me was there was a certain person whom I shall not name, who I'm having to set a strong boundary with right now around communication. And just emailed this person yesterday and have not yet heard back from him. It's possible it was that person somehow sending dark energy to me in response to what I wrote. The email was very, very respectful and kind, but was also extremely firm and making clear what my own communication boundaries were. Sometimes with certain people, it's optimal to set a strong boundary when, there's chances of you receiving harm if you continue to communicate. Anyhow, so as I do, I check with my heart. For me, the best tool I have for getting clear, definitive answers is to get settled in my own heart chakra and connect with my own divinity the very best I can. And then I ask the allies a question, and if it's a yes, I sense a rising energy in the heart, and if it's a no, I sense a drooping energy. There's subtle variations within that, strong, immediate yeses, or subtle, slow yeses, and things like that. So first I asked, was this a result of the ceremony from last night? And I got a clear no. And I said, is this related to the person I emailed yesterday? And I got a yes. And then I got the answer, okay, now I've experienced psychic attacks, very strong, forceful ones a few times, and I know what those are like. This was not a psychic attack. This was the medicine showing me on a shamanic, metaphorical level, this person's operation. And what it was showing me, that the spiders and mosquitoes were metaphors. Although, well, we think of them as metaphors, but in the shamanic world, these things are real. I mean, energetically, this person actually has these spiders and mosquitoes inside them. And on a shamanic level, this is what these sort of impulses look like. The mosquitoes are parasites. They suck the blood of other beings. And one of the things this person does is they will interact with a person in a way that will be upsetting to that person. And then as that upset opens that person's chakras, they'll draw energy from them. I don't think this person is doing that consciously, but it's what everyone does who's got any significant amount of dark beings influencing their field. And these beings want to be fed. And so most, without even knowing what they're doing, they will do something that will cause a challenging emotion to arise in that other person, and then their chakras open and send out this energy, which is what these lower entities love most. They want a nice, juicy meal of negative energy. So it's okay, that's the mosquitoes, and the spiders are venomous. They sting and they harm, and they can harm or kill. And to my knowledge, this person has never killed anyone, but anyhow, that was this person's tendency to like attack with words and energy. It's okay, I understand the metaphors now. The mosquitoes are about the person drawing vital force from another person through introducing challenging energy, and the other is the attack. And of course, the attack is what opens basically the spider's lead, you might say, and sting. And then the person is upset, and their chakras open, and negative emotional energy comes out, and then the mosquitoes suck it up. Now, I didn't watch this in play. All I saw was the mosquitoes and spiders being cultivated in the vision. But this is the energetic effect of how it works. So what I got was, okay, I was not attacked. I was simply given a teaching on the energetic level where energies appear as beings, and the being they show up as is an appropriate metaphor, you might say, for what they do. Now, physically, this person doesn't have mosquitoes and spiders inside them, but energetically they do. And we all have, I've done enough ayahuasca journeys and seen these amazing, fantastical creatures that, inhabit this world, and that on the energetic shamanic level are what they all look like. So it's very real on the energetic level, and if that's a little weird for you to contemplate, then just think of them as metaphors. It works either way. So anyhow, I said, okay, thank you for the teaching. So what it showed me was this person is continuing to cultivate these habits. The wishful part of me would think, oh, maybe this person is, turned over a new leaf and they're only doing love and light now. But what I was showing is this person is very actively and industriously continuing to cultivate the activities of the mosquitoes and the spiders, and it's still part of their lifestyle. So I was being given a teaching about that. The other interesting thing that happened, it's a very interesting process here, at least to me. Also in that tobacco ceremony last night, I'm recording this the next morning or afternoon, I was told by one of the practitioners there that they sensed my grandfather wanting to come through and help me on my father's side. And I thought, whoa, I've never even met the guy. But he said he's passed over, of course, but now he's coming back as an ally for you to assist you. And even though I've never physically met him, as I said, okay, that's very interesting. And as I was sitting, and I wasn't thinking of him when I was doing this work at the Mesa, but partway through the Mesa work, a being appeared, and I could see just a rough, vague shape in my inner eye, but I definitely had the sense of a presence standing there, obviously wanting my attention. For now, as it happens, I'm part of a group studying the law of one, and in that material, they state very clearly how to work. Now, they're putting it in the context of channeling. If you're going to channel a being, you want to challenge them, etc. But the same wisdom applies if a being shows up in your field and it's unidentified. You don't know whether it's light or dark. You have to take appropriate, measures to ensure your safety. So the procedure is to challenge the being in the name of the highest divine energy you know. So I just gave it both barrels. I say, I challenge you in the name of Jesus Christ. I challenge you in the name of the Christ consciousness. I challenge you in the name of the highest divine energy there is. And I could feel these waves of this energy I was speaking of just radiating from me toward this being, just saturating this wave after wave, pulsing into this being, and it stood there very calmly. And it was fine with that. Now, a dark being could not have stood that, and it would have fled. But the fact that the being was able to calmly stand and receive that energy let me know, okay, it's all right, I can let it in. So I asked it why it was coming. I didn't get a verbal answer, but what it did is it started to come and blend with my field, which is how things often work in the inner world. There's more of just a blending, and there's not always words or concepts involved. It's just energetic, happenings. And as I started to feel this blending begin, I checked with my own heart, my inner guidance, is this okay? Shall this be merged with me? And I got a clear yes. So I relaxed, and the being merged into my field and became part of the mix. I work with many allies, and there's a strong blend of energies in my field. So I just let it come in and blend in and felt good. And It didn't have any specific communication for me during the sitting, and I haven't received any words from it or concepts, but it's just kind of here in the field. It's sort of saying, I'm another of your allies, I'm another layer of support, protection, empowerment, love, whatever. So I'm happy to have that ancestor showing up to assist me. And that was lovely, a little PS in the work. So I got all this done and got what I felt the work was complete, checked with my allies, anything more, no. And as I like to do when I close my ceremonies, I did the chant that Amma the Hugging Saint does 9 times. It's Loka Somistas Sukhino Bhavantu, which is basically a blessing for, all beings to be happy and at peace, and saying that and closed it up. And I wasn't watching the time, but I checked the clock after I finished. Oh, I've been here about 2.5 hours. And I was, this started like around 1 a.m. I went to bed around 10, but I was strong, alert, clear in the work, and woke up this morning feeling great. So that was my experience. And this sort of thing is not uncommon. I've had experiences like this, not the details, but a number of times, something happens, you get up in the middle of the night, sit at the Mesa, work with it. And it's just part of the shamanic life sometimes. So again, I share this with you in the hopes that it will hopefully be first and foremost an entertaining tale. And secondly, maybe, I don't know what level of work you're at, because a lot of people will see this video, but maybe there was a thing or two in there that will somehow help you in your own work, your own life. So that's my hope, and that's my sharing for today. And I didn't mention it, but this was recorded on April 2nd, 2019. And I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I guess I should plug myself here at the end. My site again is astroshaman.com, and I do astrology and shamanic healing and awakening activation and life coaching. So if you like my vibe and any of that sounds interesting, feel free to check the site out. A lot of cool free stuff there too. So feel free to check it out, and thanks for watching.